Hello, everybody. Welcome to this open house and thank you for joining in. I understand that you have expressed an interest maybe to participate and you would like to learn about this more. And so that's why we thought that we will have an open house, which gives us a way to interact with you people before you can take a decision whether you would like to opt for this course, which is somewhat unique in the country and also is likely to help in development of skills in a very niche sector. If I can show you the way we have arranged this open house is that we will maybe give you a brief overview of the why do this course, and if you do this course, what will happen, and where all are the opportunities, and why one needs a formal certificate course, because there are many nuances which one needs to understand. Even if you are a user, you are a part of a service provider, in the future you want to take it up, then it's good to be geared up with this knowledge. And then we will have a brief overview of the objectives of the program and about the program, fee structure, and then the options which are possible. And also we will have a Q&A session, so that if some things we have not been able to cover and you still have some questions, you can ask, and then we would try our best to answer. So I created a mind map of this certificate program and diploma, which is in the area of next generation omic technologies and applications. After COVID, I think all of us maybe know the importance of having our data of maybe a viral DNA known to extreme detail, so that you are able to know which strain is there. And so many people were needed to be tested at that same time, and it actually showed the world that there is a great merit in using these next generation sequencing platforms for having very cost effective and timely manner diagnostic services. So the market size of the next generation sequencing is expected to rise to around 27 billion US dollars by 2027. That means there are likely to be a huge number of users. And if you have huge number of users, then there has to be a huge number of trained people in the market who can cater to these number of users, right? Which is reflected from the growth in this sector. So at this point, the challenge is that no formal education actually gears up for working on the next generation platforms. There are needs for understanding analytic tools and algorithms which can be used for analyzing the data. There is actually dearth of knowledge in understanding what kind of computational resources one can use. And more importantly, when you handle such big data, if you want to find meaning out of the data, how do you give interpretations? So this is a major challenge even for clinicians who would like to understand whether there is a variation which could be linked, let us say, to a particular disease, and sometimes it could be really a life and death situation. So in this kind of a context, one really needs to have very good skills of these next generation sequencing technologies. And there is a need for trained manpower. That's why in this sector. Now, which are the places where this can be useful? It could be diagnostic labs, because tomorrow's diagnostic solutions are going to rely a great deal from sequencing technologies, because they are becoming more and more cost effective, and you can get much more value, much more information than when you were to do one sequencing or one PCR, or even targeted panels for that matter. And the amount which you need to use in these technologies, then it's very useful for health and wellness sector, as we are getting into preventive medicine. So there's a lot of focus on understanding risk for certain kinds of diseases, allergy to certain kinds of food, exercise, etc. Diseases per se, diagnosis sector for cancer, for many rare diseases, you want to do diagnosis. Then sports medicine, that's an upcoming sector where people want to know the how you can have a personalized approach to not only what sports you can get into, but what kind of training needs, etc. There are a whole lot of things you can get out of the genome. Nutrition sector, there's an area called nutrigenomics where people are mapping their genomic signatures to ideal food. In academics, it has major use. And also, there are, if so many users are there, there would be companies who would be providing the services. These are very high throughput equipments. So people who are in the service sector, for example, who repair these equipments or give field application specialists, they are called as, where they can get to train the people who buy the equipments as well as people who are providing services. So these are all the people or all the areas where you can actually get into if you were to get skilled in these training. And that's why there's a huge opportunity in upskilling. So for example, you've done masters and you want to get a skill which will increase your employability. For even PhD, post PhD, who would like to move in this area and have not got the training during their PhD time. Any person who wants to advance their career, for example, a pathologist wants to get into the next generation diagnostic solution, as well as institutions who are wanting to get into this space and have not got enough critical mass who is knowledgeable in this area. So these people will be very useful. And then in the area of a lab technician, in the area of, if you have a master's thesis where you are with the data and you want to analyze the data, or for field application specialist, as I mentioned, and anybody who wants to do big data analysis or implement projects. So these are the spaces in which next generation sequencing technologies are coming in very useful. And the way we have organized the whole course is that we have two certificate courses, and these are all compliant with IIT kind of a structure and IIT kind of a standard. So you have to do 13 credits and 15 credits courses in the both the certificate. So you can actually do either of the certificate. Maybe with a bridge course, we would have an option to provide you that. Or if you do both the certificates, then you can get a diploma, by which you might actually get a break-in fee, as well as you get to become an IIT Jodhpur alumni. So the first certificate course gives you a core knowledge about omics, basic design, what kind of technologies are there, how you analyze the data, and then there could be electives along with the core, which will cater to specific domain area. Supposing somebody wants to get into pathology, somebody wants to get into nutrition, sport, so they can actually choose from whatever electives we offer in that area. And the second certificate again has a core which has an advanced practical oriented thing, where if you were to really get onto a workbench and you want to know how you get the samples, how you process the samples, what are the technologies, how you analyze the sample, as well as there will be an immersive component where you come to the lab in IIT Jodhpur and do the practicals yourself, and there would be electives in specific domains. And here you can get to do a project. So you can walk in with a project, or we can give you a project, whatever way, there is a freedom here. And in future, maybe we are planning for MTech. So if you have these certificates already done, and in future, if we actually offer MTech, then these certificates would be valid during that time. Uh, there are lots of challenges in the omics. It seems like it's a machine and there is a person at the end who can give you data, but that is not all. And it's very important for you to understand, even if you're giving your data to a service provider, what are the standards, what are the quality assurance, what kind of design you need to study, because omics is like a fishing expedition, and if you don't know which fish to catch, then you will get lost in it, right? So here the challenges are the complexity in the data. It can be of varied kind, how you protect the data, and if the technology keeps on changing, how you anchor your information onto changing data sets, changing platforms, etc. And then there are many challenges in the wet lab experiment, in terms of preparing samples, in terms of understanding it. And also, if you are in a big data space, how do you manage such a stream data? It cannot be managed just by Excel sheets. So you require certain basic languages which are now very easy to pick up. And also, the final part is the data interpretation. So, so what we have is reshaping a skill-based approach, where we build a skill workforce which are proficient in omics technologies, and we would like to narrow the gap from training and expertise, because even if a company wants to hire a person, they want well-trained people, so that they don't lose time and money in training people. And that's what is happening in most of the places, because there's not enough trained manpower. So every company would want to have the trained. So as a result of which, we anticipate that a large number of placement opportunities are likely to be there for students who are really performing well, because there's a huge market demand even in our country. And this could provide skill sets to plan out multi-omic experiments. So I'll hand over the next set of slides to my colleague, Dr. Pankaj Yadav, and he will take you through the program.